ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Toronto Raptors. Appreciate everyone tuning into last night's live stream. Unfortunately, Toronto did lose 114 to 109, which puts them back to the 6th seed, currently tied with the Chicago Bulls. Now, granted, I still think Toronto finishes as the 5 seed because Chicago has got Milwaukee tomorrow. They've got Boston, Minnesota, and Charlotte, and then Toronto, you've got not in those orders, but you've got Houston, you have the Knicks, Philly, and I'm blanking on the other one, but I do think Toronto will. I think the Bulls maybe win one, and I think Toronto should be able to easily go 2-2 for their final 4 games. But I'm watching last night's game, and there's a couple things clear to me. It's just a couple of things clear to me. First off, you had Freddie finally have a good offensive game, and I don't mean that to sound disrespectful in any way. He's got a leg injury. So he's been a little sluggish the last couple of games. He's been having a huge impact on defense regardless if he's playing good on offense or not. So he's definitely been super nice. But it was awesome seeing him pass Kyle Lowry's season 3-point record. It was awesome. Kyle Lowry tribute video was super dope as well. Welcome back to the channel though, man. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. As always, hit the like button. Let's try and hit 100 likes on today's video. But I noticed a couple things. And if you've been watching my channel for a while now, I made a video around the All-Star break talking about, here are a couple of things I want to see in order for Toronto to make a move in the playoffs. I'm talking get past the first round, make it tough for an opponent in the second round, maybe even make the Eastern Conference Finals. I know it might sound a little ridiculous, but there were 2 players that I was really locked in at, and it was Precious Achiuwa and it was Malachi Flynn or Delano Banton, but mainly Malachi Flynn. The good news is Malachi should be back. He should be back. People forget Malachi was like one of the best defenders at the point guard position coming out of college, and if you watched last season, at the end of last year, offensively he was going off. There were a couple of games Freddie missed around the All-Star break. I think it was before the All-Star break, where Malachi did a good job filling in. He definitely did a good job filling in. So I'm hopeful for him. I'm hopeful that him and Precious can continue to produce for him in the playoffs. But it's just so clear to me, like, there are moments where, last night, I think it was mainly, in my opinion, it was the second and third quarters where Toronto, but they only score 21 in the second, 23 in the third. And, that's serviceable, but there's moments where the offense just kind of goes flat. And, they say you're only as strong as your weakest link. Well, to me, the clear weak link on the Toronto Raptors is Khem Birch. I mean, there are some... he'll get you some offensive boards, he'll have some nice defensive presence, but for the most part, he's still like a really raw basketball player, which sucks because he's kind of old. Or he's not old, but like compared to the rest of the Raptors, he's kind of old. So I actually was super hopeful for Khem Birch heading into this season. I thought he was going to be, honestly, like a 12-6 with a block type of game, or type of player per game, and I was just dead wrong. I mean, a good example was early in the game, he got the start last night with OG being out. Good example would be, he got an offensive rebound, but then put it up, and it was just like one of the worst shots I think I've ever seen. Obviously, there's, players all around him, but he didn't get fouled or anything like that. Where he puts up a shot, it was a complete air ball. He's literally right below the rim, kind of puts up almost like a floating away, fade away type of shot right below the rim, complete air ball. Thankfully, Scotty Barnes was right there, and it kind of looked like an alley-oop pass. Well, no, Khem Birch was not trying to alley-oop pass that to Scotty Barnes. So, Toronto. Obviously in the whole grand scheme of things, in the bigger picture, Toronto, they're going to make moves in the offseason. I don't think it's going to be anything crazy. I don't anticipate any of the starters getting traded, anybody like Siakam or Freddie, or obviously not Gary or OG. None of those guys are going to get traded. But like, I don't know, at the start of the season, man, I was really hopeful for Zvi. I was really hopeful for Malachi. I was hopeful for Delano. They're just lacking that scoring off of the bench, obviously being the worst statistical team this season in bench scoring. Last night, you had 2 points from Thaddeus. The good news is Thaddeus does everything else. You only had 8 points, or I shouldn't say only 8 points. Chris Boucher probably should have played a little bit more last night. The thing is, he was a little inefficient. He had 8 points, and then Precious just didn't have his best night whatsoever and only finished with 3 points. Armani did see 5 minutes. I was relatively surprised to see him because they did sign him to a contract, which means he is eligible to play in the playoffs. But I can't think to imagine Toronto's going to eye a guy, not Karis LeVert specifically, but a player like Karis LeVert. Obviously Karis LeVert, in my eyes, he's a full-time starter. Kind of with all the injuries in Cleveland, he'll get some starts here and there, but for the most part, I think they're using him as a six-man, throwing Isaac at the 2 spot, Laurie at the 3. I'm thinking of a guy like Jordan Clarkson, thinking of a guy like Karis LeVert, an old Lou Williams, or young Lou Williams, I should say. Somebody who, when you're going through offensive droughts, you just put him in and let him go to work. Like Jordan Poole. Could you imagine if Jordan Poole was coming off the bench for the Toronto Raptors? I would have them as a finals favorite. Jordan Poole's had like 17 or 18 straight games scoring 18 or more points. That's kind of the point I'm trying to get to, is Toronto's just one piece away. They're one bench piece away, one bench scorer. Ideally, a guy who can play a little bit of defense. The good news is Toronto's such a good defensive team. They have so many versatile, interchangeable defenders that I don't even think targeting a defensive-minded player is at the top of their priorities. Obviously, like I said, I'm not saying exactly Jordan Clarkson. I'm not saying exactly Karis LeVert, but a player of that caliber, a player to that degree, where you throw a man off the bench, they're going to play 25 a night, and they're going to give you at least 15 points. 15 points maybe is the average, and here and there a little drop, 20, 25, whatever the case may be. That's the one piece Toronto's missing, and I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to kind of figure that out. So if you guys enjoyed this video, hit the like button, hit that sub button. But what I want you guys to do is go ahead and comment down below. Are there any players, any bench players that you have your eye on heading into free agency, whether it's through free agency or whether it's through trading, whatever the case may be? If you have a guy in mind, go ahead and drop him down below. Let's try and hit 100 likes once again. Hit that sub button for pretty much daily Raptors content, and I'll see you guys later.